weeks into the 2014 World Cup, we speak to our soccer expert on the most memorable moments so far. Also, World Cup predictions from Animal Oracles. I'm Madeleine White. Welcome to Globe Now. We're about 2 weeks into the 2014 World Cup, and things are going smoothly, which is surprising to some. Before the first match even started, there was a lot of anxiety that Brazil was not ready to host a world-class event. But beyond a few protests and some other minor hiccups, the experience has been very positive and squarely focused on the beautiful game. But that doesn't mean there haven't been big, memorable moments. And the Globe's Cathal Kelly is in Brazil, and he joins us now to share some of his. So Cathal, what have been your best moments so far?
Well, I think the beautiful thing about this tournament so far is the best moments have all been the games. If we go back to 2010 in South Africa, the problem was that very few of those games were memorable. They were all kind of grinding. Even the biggest games at the end were all letdowns. This tournament, every single day seems to throw up a huge game, a surprise result, a lot of action, a lot of goals. We're at the highest clip for goals, almost 3 per game since 1970. I think that's the problem. When you talk about the fact that Brazil may not have been ready, they weren't. Outside of the arenas themselves and what you see on television, nothing else really is prepared. But the games are saving the tournament, and that's making it one of the best in my memory.
And so have there been any kind of bad moments or anything that's maybe rubbed you the wrong way while you've been in Brazil?
I think for most people, it's not about the people covering it. It's about the people who watch it, the fans. And for them, I think the refereeing has been a little bit spotty in places. This is pretty typical. There was a game the other night involving Bosnia where they were just completely jobbed by the ref. There was the opening game where there was a terrible penalty call that cost Croatia a draw with Brazil. So I think most people would say that if there's anything going wrong with the tournament, it's some bad refereeing. But again, that just adds to the spice. That just increases the flavor. That gives you a talking point. So I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, all things considered, unless you're Bosnian, Croatian, or a couple of the other teams that have gotten a little bit messed over here.
Fair enough. Now, you mentioned the fans. Of course, at a big event like this, there's lots of crazy fan culture. Has anything made you kind of laugh so far from what you've seen out on the streets?
What you're seeing more and more, and I've been covering these things for a while, and what has changed is about 10 years ago, what you got were fans would show up in the national colors. So they show up in the jerseys, and then they would sit en masse together. But increasingly, and now especially at this tournament, there's so many people who take such great time and effort to come in fancy dress. I'm specifically thinking about the Japanese who are, their fans are in some just absolutely bizarre outfits. I have no idea how they got them on the plane to get them here. But you go through the stands, and it really has become a real festival atmosphere, which I guess is very fitting for Brazil and for Rio. But the fans have been really, really into it, and especially given that 4 years ago in South Africa, because there were so many concerns about safety, very few people travel. So that event really didn't feel terribly international in the arenas. But this one feels massively international. It just feels like a big party every night.
Fun. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we want to hear from you. What have been some of the best World Cup moments for you? Have you been impressed by the quality of the game so far? You can tweet us. We are on Twitter at GlobeNow. Stay with us. Coming up next, we look at the phenomenon of animal oracles. So we've heard from our soccer expert, Cathal Kelly, and while he offers some insightful analysis, there's one thing he may be lacking: an ability to predict the outcome of games with psychic powers. Luckily, there are plenty of animal oracles filling that role. Here are a few of them.
It wouldn't be a World Cup without some animal predictions. Paul the octopus, who led the prediction pack in 2010, is no longer with us. But there's some new creatures in the running to take his place. There's Cabeçal, or Big Head, the loggerhead turtle from Brazil. He picks by eating a fish underneath the flag of the team he thinks will win. Or there's Nelly, the gentle giant. She's got her footwork down pat. The net she scores in is her winning choice. She's had a good track record, picking 30 for 33 in various international soccer tournaments over the last 8 years. Can she keep it up? The method Shaheen the camel uses? A nose nudge to a sign with the team of his choice. Isidoro the ocelot, a native to Brazil but living in Boston, uses bamboo to pick his team. He even has his own Twitter account. So which of these animal oracles will come out on top? We'll have to wait to the end of the tournament to find out.
Well, that's all for today's show. Let us know how you've been enjoying the World Cup. Tell us about a memorable moment you've shared. Or if you're a fan down in Brazil, tweet us a picture. We're at Globe Now. I'm Madeleine White. Thanks so much for joining.